Welcome to Amir Questlove Thompson. Can I call you Amir and tell me like what did you
Questlove,
prefer?
you know,
Call you Questlove?
yeah, Questlove's fine.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay, and Joseph Patel, the producer and the director of Sly Lives, a fascinating documentary which is here at the festival.
Thank you.
Um, People call you Questlove.
He's the DJ, I'm the rapper.
Yeah.
He's the director, I'm the producer.
That's the first time I've met you. I've seen so many interviews that you've done. I've watched all your movies, and including this one, which is fascinating.
Thank you.
But when I talk to people who talk about you, they call you Amir. That's why I'm thrown.
Questlove's my stage name.
Questlove's your stage name.
Yeah.
And we're working here, so
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be. I'm fascinated by your interest in Black genius. And it's not only in this film that passion and that interest comes through, but you talk about it explicitly in this movie. Talk about how this concept, which seems to drive the film, led to did that lead to choosing the life of Sly, the Family Stone, or was it the other way around?
Sly was basically the big bang in terms of his positioning as a celebrity, specifically for Black celebrity, because unlike his forefathers, James Brown, Ray Charles, Chuck Berry, B.B. King, like whoever came before him, it's before the civil rights period, so they're not able to bask in full celebrity freedom. Chuck Berry has to sleep in the car sometimes, not allowed in the hotel. So Sly Stone's the first carte blanche Black celebrity. And he'll also be the first domino in many that have fallen by the waysides, because no one prepares you for the tidal wave or the tsunami that is Black celebrity in particular, which is, one, you have to shine for the world, but two, you also are expected to shine for your family, your community, and oftentimes the pressure to take everything with you, take people with you, is sort of embedded in us. So Sly's navigating of that, I feel, has led to what happened to him in the mid-'70s. And personally, I just wanted to kind of question the notion of when we just dismiss someone oh, that's a drug addict, he just chose cocaine, but I don't know.
But your question is actually really fascinating, because it is sort of chicken and egg, right? It's I know you've been thinking about that idea of the burden of Black genius for a long time, and then when we knew we were going to work on the Sly documentary, it was what's the bigger story? Not just Sly's story, but what can it extrapolate out to? And I think maybe he put those two things together, because when he presented it to us, I was like, oh, I get it, because I think he went through something similar.
Well, that's what I was going to circle back to. In a way, it feels like it's coming from you and what burden you may feel as somebody who has to
absolutely
serve your own muse, but represent.
No, I mean, the irony of this project meeting me at this very particular kind of paradigm shifting tipping point time in my life, I will freely share that, yes, there were a lot of parallels in this film that I've experienced maybe in the last 2.5 years. And so even to create this and observe it.
We'll talk about that. What has happened to you? What is, as you if you can step outside yourself for a minute and sort of say, okay, here's the path that I would like to be on, but this is the world's pushing me in a certain direction.
I mean, the feeling, it's not anything specific. I mean, the feeling is, if you ever had the privilege of riding in the Autobahn in Germany, and and legally do 100.
I was gonna say with or without a seatbelt.
And legally do 180 miles an hour. With that, it's that level. There's just an anxiety feeling that happens, because also, I mean, the main pressure is that you have to live with yourself, but also with your family members and your friends in that circle, and sort of please them that, you know, I'll not leave you, the obligatory thing. But then also you have to like represent the world. Like everything you do is under a microscope. So that's a hard demon to get rid of, you know. Like I've taken therapy just to learn to say the word no, which, you know, people pleasing is my jam. So this is how, because the thing is, if you don't deal with it, then like Sly, you're going to self-soothe, and all those things. So pretty much.
So your method is you just make a documentary.
Well, yes, I mean, and also therapy, but it's for me also having this close proximity to at least 30, 40, 50 of Sly's disciples, and they all wind up like I knew them. You know what I mean? Like it's this is my intervention cry.
Yeah, this is what I mean. He talked about this being sort of a way to intervene, to serve intervention to his artist peer friends.
This is your intervention cry to your artist.
In another life, 30 years ago, you would know me as a drummer in a hip hop band called The Roots. So, in this alternate life I lived, that got me here as this guy. 30 years ago, we released our first record, and we built a musical community of game-changing artists that have affected music. But we all started as a subculture, just like localized friends, and then kind of 5 years into our career, we became the establishment. And it remains to be seen if we could say in hindsight that it was a smooth ride. You know, you got to read between the lines. But
well, you're making history. When you make history, it's never going to be a smooth ride.
yeah, if only there was
You're building.
If only there was a warning or a guide to that.
There's no manual. There's no manual for that.
This is the manual that people can watch, and like, there's no way that, even if it's just learning how good songs get made, I guarantee you there's no unhearing this Pavlov bell that we've rung, like, once you watch this film. Again, am I speaking to you personally? Are you that person? To the smallest detail, like how a pop song gets made. Like, there's all the information in this film is necessary adhesive.
So it's kind of it's a letter to yourself and your contemporaries in a way.
It's a letter for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really, I mean, I think that's really interesting, as opposed to here's a really interesting artist whose music you know, but whose story you may not know. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that in coming out on the streamers and at the festival. I did notice you in the Yacht Rock documentary, which I've watched a couple of times, and now have consulted your playlist. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
But this really feels it feels so very personal, and also a reminder of who Sly Stewart really was and how many people he did impact. So sort of to bring it back to the subject of the film, like was that a joyful journey for you to kind of get your hands real dirty with, the nitty gritty of like what he was doing at that particular moment in time?
Does this feel like a cathartic process for you?
I think so. Yeah, I think when we started this film, we knew we wanted to tell his story with a lot of empathy. And I think when you make something with that intention, the process is cathartic. Just it's baked in, I think. Did it feel like that for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, as I said, while we're in a position to tell these stories or have a platform, I don't see any project as waste-worthy, which, I mean, I admire that sort of artist as well, that one that does something with absolute life intention, like, I got to help mankind, versus, like, this is what I felt like, I got this from a dream or whatever. But for the most part, yeah, I want to hit bullseye in my target when it comes to what I put out in the world.
So if you could shed all the burden of all that comes with being able to work at the top of your God-given potential without all the noise, like, is that a path that you feel like you can choose, or that any great Black artist can choose? And there's a lot of them we could name check right now.
Your question actually hit it on the head. I mean, because that's the thing. It's like true artistry starts when there is no noise there. And oftentimes, you know, in my album career, yes, artists are always inside their head. They're thinking of what their label wants or what radio wants, and oftentimes not even being in tune to what their true artistry is. And, you know, that's a sad place to create. So I feel like even in your question, having a blank slate is the goal that I think for a lot of people is unobtainable, like, because there's always a voice in your head that says that you can't do it, or
Yeah, how can you be
self-doubt.
22 again and just have nothing to lose and nothing at stake?
Well, you know, this
It
is
could be
kind of
22 or whatever.
well. I think with Summer of Soul, especially with the pandemic coming on, I learned like the value of silence and quiet, and like that much silence, like quarantining on a farm. Like, no, I mean, I felt like I was 10 years old again. Like, so many ideas came. I was like, wow. Like, I used to make fun of people that, you know, are farm upstate or whatever, and then I became that person like after the pandemic. But yeah, I didn't realize that how necessary silence is for creativity. So yeah, so I, again, with your question, I believe that there has to be that's the goal, that's the sweet spot, to not have noise in your head, and yeah, and create in silence.
Well, I hope personally that you find that for yourself, because
Absolutely.
we're all the beneficiaries when
Yeah.
you can get that moment of peace and just be on your own with your muse, whatever that muse is.
Yes.
But the film is really
Myself.
interesting, and I think a lot of people are going to watch it and love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.